BetOnline is the world's most trusted betting platform and your number one source for everything football. BetOnline has every stat, every matchup, and even live odds and spreads to bet on during the games. You think you know your stuff? Well, get in on our $200,000 mega contest and pick 5 games against the spread every week for your chance at weekly prizes and a share of $200K. $200,000. It's ridiculous. When the game's over, head on over to our online casino and get in a game of blackjack or poker or unwind with one of our over 150 slot games. Head to the website today to get in the action. Bet online. The game starts here. Tim from New York City, and the subject is Jimmy Jacobs firing, is what this guy said. Over the weekend, well, I'm going to read this. I don't know. I was going to see if you had any information on this, because you know people that work there. So, over the weekend, news broke that Disco List member Jimmy Jacobs was let go by AEW. After the news was broken, one of Tony Khan's top IWC lieutenants, Ibu, held a Twitter Spaces where he discussed the situation around the firing. Attaches a photo. Is there a photo screenshot here?
I got it up on the screen. I got it up.
Attaches a photo screenshot with some tidbits that were said in the Spaces. In my opinion, most of these points are either ridiculous or good ideas that didn't come across well the way they were executed. What are your thoughts on Jimmy being let go and the smear campaign that seems to be going on? All the best. That's from Tim. Sorry for knocking the Phillies out, Joe, but let's go Mets. Oh, the Mets. Big bet today from the Disco Inferno on the Mets today, coming back on the bounce back from.
You got the Mets tonight?
Well, the game already played. They scored 6 runs the first 2 innings. They were 6-0. I knew they would come out. You know, the Dodgers had shutouts 3 games in a row. I was like, I'm sorry. In baseball, statistically, you have to bet against them the next game. That's a statistical anomaly. So the Jimmy Jacobs stuff this is fascinating. I mean, maybe because I don't get dirt sheets, and the only dirt sheet news I read is on Twitter if it's posted on. I don't read the Observer. I don't read I don't go on any websites. And the only website I go on is ProWrestling.net. Jason Powell to get the TV reviews. I could not care less about following wrestling news. The only time I hear wrestling news is what is brought up here, and we can discuss
especially
it.
From fanboys.
Right, exactly. So I'm not a fan. I don't care.
Where's the thing you had up, Joe?
I'm more interested
in it right now.
I'm more interested in football injuries than I am about wrestling news these days. My fantasy.
Poor Aiden Hutchinson, huh?
Right, yeah. Okay. So it was funny. I saw all this info come out about Jimmy Jacobs, and I haven't heard any of this reported before. Like he was the guy that was writing the Learning Tree segment. This sounds like a lot of leaks are coming out to make him look bad. Okay, and I wonder where that's coming from. Because I've worked, like I said, I've done a couple stints at TNA at Impact. I've worked with Jimmy Jacobs. Even though I used to bury him 20 years ago, like, you know, whatever, who cares? But when I worked with the guy at Impact, I thought the guy was a very good writer. Like he had a well-written show. The material that he gave me, I actually almost verbatim. I didn't I didn't have to change a thing. I thought he does a good.
Let me ask you a question,
good
Joe.
Job, and I was wondering why. I didn't know that he was like the writer of this show.
Okay, let me ask you a question, Joe.
Mm-hmm.
Who are the wrestling purists?
This guy. It's a Mark site.
Exactly.
Okay.
Yeah.
Because the other day he put
that's
up
Ibu.
some news.
That's Ibu.
Okay,
that's
well,
Ibu.
Yeah. He put something up on Twitter, and I said it was incorrect information. But anyways, so the first one, read it, Joe, and we'll go over.
Well, it says Jimmy was TK's right-hand man from 2023 to the present.
All right. Well, how many right-hand men did he have? Because he had a few. Okay. The next one.
He's a big reason for the rankings going away.
Very good decision, and I still see them. The other one.
Had no idea who Okada was.
I do not believe that.
Well, but that's probably exaggerating. It's like he had no idea that Okada is supposed to be the big superstar, like the greatest wrestler ever.
I do not believe that. Jimmy
but I'm just
knows
saying,
it. Yeah.
He probably does. But I would sit there and say, like Jimmy Jacobs probably didn't think Okada was as big a deal as everyone else.
Maybe that.
Right.
But
go ahead.
This says something different. It says I had no idea who he was.
Yeah, but this is about Mark. These are Mark's delivering this information.
Okay, next one. Well, it's supposed to be a lieutenant, so maybe he talks to Tony, and Tony tells him, who knows? Go ahead.
Yeah, so he was not familiar with AEW programming before coming in, nor did he, quote, like it, apparently. So this is 2019 to 2022 AEW. I mean,
get in line.
Real quick, you know, when he left WWE, he was right there in the thick of things with the Bucks and Cody and all that at the beginning of AEW. He didn't join the company. Remember, he took that picture and it got him fired.
Right.
Now with those guys outside at the rally. But, all right, so he was responsible for the Learning Tree program. He created it, not Jericho. Every single Learning Tree segment was Jimmy Jacobs. Could be.
Okay. All right.
Right, because he was in the whole Jericho.
It was working. It was working, and Jericho liked it enough to do it.
Yeah, Jericho wasn't going to, but bro, Jericho's not going to do something he doesn't like. He's
Right, exactly.
Like, come on, like give me a break.
I believe that because Jimmy was well entrenched in.
Okay, next.
Well, he worked with Jericho at WWE, so that's he liked
on the list. Yeah, go ahead, next.
And KO, yeah. So Full Gear 2023, the main event, and how it was booked, which everyone hated.
I have no idea what that was. So
did not want to push Daniel Garcia. Found it laughable when it came to pushing DG.
I would agree
most
with
of us
them
do. Yeah, there's really no. Yeah, there's nothing's controversial. I haven't heard one controversial thing yet. But these are the things that their fans think is controversial.
Yeah,
correct. Right. That's,
yeah.
Okay,
So
go ahead.
he was apparently opposed to having Takeshita win the ladder match for the TNT title.
Okay. Who's
right? That's nothing important.
Here's the
Go
thing.
ahead.
Jimmy Jacobs is from the Fed. He wrote in that structure and stuff. He probably didn't give a about any of the AEW dirt sheet darling guys on the show. He just wanted to write a show to try and get numbers. But we see he was probably fighting Tony constantly on guys that Tony wants to push.
Yeah,
and what he wants to do. So it's like I don't even have to know like what went on here. Jimmy Jacobs quit because like Tony wants to push these people that, bro, you're coming from New York. You've written for Jericho. You've written segments with Edge and all the big stars over there, and you're coming here, and then this guy wants you to make Daniel Garcia into Stone Cold Steve Austin, and it's like what are you going like what would you? I would say the same thing. I'd be like, are you out of your mind? Like this kid is green. He looks like it's like you can't put this guy on top and expect to draw numbers. We're getting $170 million in TV rights deals. We need to get numbers. You're not going to get it with this guy. And I bet Tony just like keeps wanting to shove this guy down everybody's throats. It's like, fine, I'm done here. I bet what happened, Jimmy. I would bet money that's what happened. Because
I'm sorry. It says they were comparing Jimmy Jacobs leaving to Vince leaving creative. That would be Vince leaving creative. So I guess.
So like all of a sudden now, Tony Khan's brilliant ideas are going to go unfiltered. We're going to have the show's going to be great.
Like how Vince was allegedly holding back certain guys and archaic ideas. Jimmy's being compared to Vince.
Well, here's the one thing that the people that work at AEW, okay, and the wrestlers included, okay, a lot of them, right? Probably the ones that are getting pushed. They're buying into this philosophy that's like, this is for the sickos. And that's fine, but you probably have a lot of people working there. It's like, no, we need to expand our audience. We need to not book just for the sickos. And I would not doubt that that's probably the internal war that's going on in that company. Konnan, you should have some knowledge of stuff's going on there.
Yeah, let me tell you, just so you know, I don't read stuff and then call and try to find out. When I happen to talk to people backstage and I remember, I'll ask. But I'm going to go out of my way to ask because I am curious about this, and I'll tell you why. Because when I worked with Jimmy Jacobs for the 3 years I was in TNA, and he worked very little on LAX because that was just basically me, Sanjay, and Jeremy.
Right.
Yeah. So
Sanjay was working with you too on that, huh?
Right. Yeah.
Yeah.
And they were great.
Right.
But when he was doing stuff with other people that whether it was Penta and Phoenix or Ty or anybody that had anything to ADR, or with you. I saw how attention to detail he was, how smart he was, how professional he was, how on point he was. So it's very hard for me to believe any of this. He's a guy that I would like to have on my team if I had a writing team.
Right. Yeah. Exactly. Me too. I was like, I wonder where he's going to go next. I wonder if he's probably got a deal to go back to New York.
Or maybe working with Scotty.
Well, there's no way that Hunter, Triple H now being in charge, would be so petty that he would fire a guy for taking a picture with the Young Bucks.
Yeah, I think that was Vince.
Right.
Plus, he was always saying that Vince didn't like how he dressed either.
Right. Had to be. So it's like, I would be willing to bet that he's probably just going to go back there and write with, He probably had a good relationship, a good working environment. Plus, he probably who wouldn't want to go back there right now?
Right.
If you're right.
Vince Russo.
Vince Russo. Right. Did you see Rikishi got Vince Russo?
No, what happened?
Oh, well, we'll talk about it.
All right.
Okay, yeah, it's hysterical.
So here's the rest. It was, Jimmy was said to be Dynamite's top writer, Pryor leaving, and
I don't think they have the top writer is Tony Khan. There's no way it's Jimmy Jacobs, and I can tell you that for a fact.
Right.
And it also says an AEW talent was listening to this Twitter space anonymously and essentially agreed to all these statements. And then it says another note: Pepperman or Pepperman, whatever her name is, had never.
I can tell you that he's not the only guy. There's a lot of wrestlers and a lot of staff that feel the same way. Just nobody says because they're getting paid. Go ahead.
Peppermint had never watched AEW before she came on, too, but is seen as a positive force in AEW due to her improvements for the women's division.
Okay, let me tell you something about Peppermint. I don't know what she's contributed or hasn't contributed, but bro, they were so underserved that anything you did was going to make them look better. The only thing that I've seen there that's been a good women's storyline has been the Tony Storm Mariah May thing. That was really good. And Willow was becoming a star before she got there. What else have the women done that you could call like really good?
I guess, yeah, that's it.
I mean, definitely not the Mercedes Monet.
Well, you don't watch the show. How about you, Disco?
I mean, Mercedes Monet was brought in. She got Jen Pepperman as a writer. She's supposed to be the big baby face star. The first 3-3 promo she cut, she was a heel.
Right.
It's like, I don't know. Like,
yeah, that storyline with Britt Baker was terrible.
Well, there was one good segment.
It started off great.
The ring where they had the
started off great.
Right. They had one good segment.
I was like, what? How do you make this worse?
Well, like, what
and then the girl got suspended, so she wasn't even on the show for like 2 weeks. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
So per Dave and Brian, this is from Observer Radio, Meltzer emphasized that no one has said anything negative to him about Jacobs. Jacobs was allegedly burnt out. Alvarez corroborated, and Meltzer said he did make it clear that he did not do nearly as much writing of the shows as people think he did. He was technically not in...
That's what I heard.
Yeah, he was technically not in creative, but was an assistant to Tony, but he did suggest ideas. That's from Dave Meltzer.
Interesting.
Well, that's not a good thing that people, when they're leaving, to try to burn him like they did with Penta Phoenix and now with him.
Well, guess what? Guess what we're probably not going to hear exactly what happened because Jimmy Jacobs had to sign an NDA. How about that?
Somebody somewhere, bro, history will not be kind to him. Somebody somewhere that hasn't signed an NDA, one day we'll talk.
Did you see that tweet?
I may be the first one. Yeah.
Yo, what's up? I just want to thank you guys for watching this clip. Don't forget to hit the like button, leave a comment, and subscribe. And join our YouTube membership for hours and hours of exclusive, unedited, uncensored content. And being a member will help you get involved in our upcoming live streams. Thank you for your support. Thank you for riding with us. I know you got a lot of other podcast choices, be it wrestling or other ones. And thank you for picking us. Boom.